What if the clothing you're wearing could play a pivotal role in changing our planet?
What if we could create a new global textile industry that is somehow good for our planet?
It sounds revolutionary, right? Well, that's exactly what some people are trying to push for. A revolution in the way that we manufacture, wear, and dispose of clothing.
My name is Titus Vanderspek, and I'm an academically trained researcher with over a decade of teaching and research experience in the fields of disruptive innovation, sustainable business management, and entrepreneurship models. But something new is grabbing my attention. I've become more and more intrigued by how entire industries and ecosystems are trying to revolutionize themselves. And at the forefront of these types of revolutions is the textile industry. And so I'm going on a new quest. A quest to discover and potentially help solve how the textile industry is going to move from a linear supply chain to a healthier circular supply chain. And I want to capture this entire journey through a video channel so that I can share it with you. Our world is draped in textiles. You are literally draped in textiles. Seriously though, textiles are all around us. And while they're a big cornerstone of our society and how we function every day, this does come at a cost. The textile industry has, for the last 15 years, been under a lot of scrutiny and media attention. It's gotten a bad rep for being one of the most polluting industries on our planet and not always taking care of its workers. At the same time, we as consumers have become totally addicted to clothing. We want what we want now, and we want it cheap, and we want it fast. Did you know that 80% of the clothing that we own ends up in landfill? That's pretty crazy, right? If you pause and think about that for a second. I mean, do we really ever think about what happens to our clothing after we wear it?
Anyways, the point of this channel is not to sensationalize the negative, but to look at the future. A future where a much more interesting phenomena is shaking up the entire textile industry.
And that phenomena is circularity, a change in the way that we design, use, and dispose of clothing. Essentially, a whole new way of running this supply chain. Right now, the textile supply chain looks something like this. It's a linear supply chain with a clear start and a clear end. In the last decade, the industry has made major efforts to clean up links in this chain. Factories are using less water and harmful chemicals to manufacture clothes. Fashion companies are starting to use recycled plastics to make sportswear. And consumers have more transparency about how their clothing is made through the use of eco-labels. Major steps to cleaning up this supply chain, right? But the question is it enough? Many say that it's not, and that a more radical shift is necessary. And this is where circularity comes in. It's essentially a shift from a linear supply chain with a take, make, use, waste model to one with multiple feedback loops so that materials can be recycled, repurposed, remanufactured, and refurbished. In fact, circularity is so visionary that it actually aims to create a supply chain that's somehow regenerative and restorative for the environment. What that means is that it doesn't just aim to reduce the negative impacts of the various activities in its supply chain, but that somehow all those activities are actually good for the environment and good for society. It's an inspiring idea, but it requires a total revamp of the supply chain, and this comes with a lot of questions. I mean, are we still going to produce clothing in one continent and sell it on the other? Or are we going to have a bunch of local textile industries in every single continent? And how is this going to affect the pricing of our products? Is clothing going to be more expensive? And is there still a role for fast fashion companies? Or does circularity make them obsolete? And most importantly, how are we going to achieve this on a global scale? Is circularity even possible? Or is it just a utopian idea? There's a lot to unpack, and seeing as circularity is already in progress, we need information fast and we need to make decisions even faster. So we don't really have the luxury of time. This change is already affecting producers, buyers, fast fashion companies, citizens, and policymakers, and they need information now. So I've decided to replace research papers with a video channel so that I can share this entire research journey with you. You'll be able to follow every step of the journey through podcasts, interviews, talking head videos, and shorts. On this channel, I'll explain what circularity is, I'll demystify some of the laws and trends that are coming up, and I'll also be talking to innovators and big thinkers that are looking at how circularity can take place in this industry. Each video is a step to 1, help us to understand what's going on in the industry, and 2, to help solve this problem. And you can be a part of it. Whether you're a business owner in the textile industry or an NGO or just a curious citizen, share your thoughts, ideas, and questions, and let's navigate this journey together. So I invite you to join me. Let's get started.